Anyway, everybody, again, very near couch victory during Sunday Night Football, as is tradition for me to fall asleep during Sunday Night Football like the old man that I am. However, we managed to wake up. The voice will warm up. And hopefully I'll be able to put up somewhat of a fight this time because we have the start of the Bears being on Sunday Night Football does that. Yeah. We have the start of the third era tonight as your boys 0-2. Chat has done quite well for themselves through the 80s and the 90s, but now we head into the early days of the 2000s. The 2002-2003 draft and season is upon us, which means it is time to yet again randomize to see who we will end up being. Now, before we do that, we have some business to attend to, and then we'll see what happens, right? Right. Oh, the 2000s, Oh, God, this era starts over 20 years ago. That is, that's horrifying, isn't it? That's horrifying that this era starts over 20 years ago. Good Lord. Well, first and foremost, we need to find a proper roster. And, there are three of them that have a fair amount of downloads, but this one intrigues me, mentioning age updates plus more, even if this one's the most popular one so far. I don't know. Then again, this one's got 15 updates. Roster, all 29 teams, player likeness ratings based off basketball reference. Who do I trust? God damn. Who do I trust? I don't know what to do anymore. Shit. Go to the bottom and do that one, right? A Blue Steel Magic. I'm going to trust you. It'd be nice if they added a rating system. I agree. We'll see if this one looks good, and then if it ends up not looking so hot, then we can always restart, right? Always restart. No big deal. If you are to believe the internet, never trust anybody. Or if you're Stone Cold Steve Austin, don't trust anybody. All-Star City Selection automatic, Ketchup Scouting automatic. Blue Steel has 15 updates. Well, see, that's what I was thinking, right? Like if it's someone you got multiple updates, you're probably working pretty hard on that roster, right? All-Star, Ketchup Scouting, no. Draft Combine, draft contract options. This is the time I'm going to make a bad mistake, I'm telling you. This is the time for me to make an automation mistake. This is the time. But so far, I'm actually doing okay. I'm actually doing all right here. All right. Actually think we're good. What do you know? Hey, the G League's going to be a thing for the first time, though. It's about damn time. Mobski, what's going on, by the way? It's going to be nice to have the G League be a thing for player development, That's going to be fun. All right. We are nearly good to go. And hopefully this roster's actually good. Now, It is 2002, 2003. My voice is just fighting me. This is what happens when you wake up and start a stream after 7 minutes. So excuse me. But actually, really, excuse me for a second. Let me take a swig of water for the working man. When talking about what we're going to look to do here, same thing as we have been doing, because again, when we did this challenge for the first time a couple years ago, it was always whoever was in last in the conference on both sides. You know, the first time we did this, it would have been Cleveland versus Denver. Obviously, the smoking lunch lady voice. There you go. Obviously, we've been randomizing this year. We're going to continue to do that. However, if we have controlled said teams already in a different era, we're going to rule them out, which means the Chicago Bulls will not be on the wheel of destiny here. The Cleveland Cavaliers will not be on the wheel of destiny here, nor will the Houston Rockets. But that does leave plenty of other teams that we could end up being for this season as we go over certain details. And again, the Rockets are off the board, which start off with frickin' Yao Ming and Stevie Franchise there, old Steve Francis. So would have been an interesting one. The Mavericks made the playoffs in this real season, which is why I didn't name them. You see. San Antonio, obviously not going to be there. They ended up making the playoffs this year. They won the NBA title in this season. I think you guys are familiar with Tim Duncan. But just to look at their roster, of course, we'll do it this way instead of doing it after the fact. The Phoenix Suns also not going to be available on this poll, but damn. Starberry, Marion, and the guy who won Rookie of the Year, Amari Stoudemire. The first team that is in the running, the Seattle Supersonics. Gary Payton, Rashard Lewis, Brent Barry, Derek Mason. But obviously with Payton and Barry, both at least 30 years old, it's like, what do you do there? And of course, perhaps an impending move to Oklahoma City in a few years. So Seattle is on the wheel. The Minnesota Timberwolves were actually good at the time. You might be familiar with Kevin Garnett. Shout out to Wally Zerbiak as well. But yeah, no Minnesota because of the power of Kevin Garnett. The Portland Trailblazers also not going to be on the wheel. But they got Rasheed Wallace. You got Scottie Pippen at 37. A young Zach Randolph. The next team that is on the wheel, though, the Golden State Warriors. Antoine Jameson, Gilbert Arenas, Jason Richardson, Eric Dampier, Mike Dunleavy, O'Donnell Foyle. And a logo that is very bizarre, but I do kind of love it. So again, Golden State will be on the wheel. The Washington Wizards will be on the wheel. In real life, this was Michael Jordan's last season. They had Jerry Stackhouse, Larry Hughes, Christian Laettner. You know who that is. Brendan Haywood, Kwame Brown, Tyronn Lue. So the Wizards are going to be there. The 76ers will not be available. They made the playoffs this season behind Allen Iverson and his band of merry men. Keith Van Horn, Eric Snow, Derek Coleman, Aaron McKee. The Milwaukee Bucks made the playoffs in real life in this season. Ray Allen, Sam Cassell, Michael Redd, Tony Kukoc, Tim Thomas, Kevin Ollie. So they will not be on the Wheel of Destiny. The Chicago Bulls, again, would have been on the Wheel of Destiny, but I feel like, well, I controlled them in the first era, so let's eliminate them, right? Get a different look. But they would have been an interesting team to control because, Jalen Rose and Tyson Chandler. Chandler at 20, Danielle Marshall's 29, Jamal Crawford. It was an interesting team. Eddie Curry at 19. Sam Cassell looks like he's melting. You're not wrong. The Cleveland Cavaliers, same as Chicago. They are technically available, but because one of us has controlled them so far, I decided to eliminate them. Zydrunas Ilgauskas, Ricky Davis, a young Carlos Boozer, Darius Miles. Not the worst team in the world, although they were the worst team in the league that year, and obviously ended up with one LeBron James. Never heard of him. Never heard of him. The Boston Celtics aren't available because they made the playoffs in this season. That's right, Reaver. Look at him. Antoine Walker. Tony Delvin Baker. Walter McCarty. What a time. What a time. One team that will be available on the wheel. The LA Clippers. Elton Brand, Andre Miller, Corey Maggette, Lamar Odom, Quentin Richardson, Michael Olowokandi, Cherokee Parks, Melvin Ely. I actually wouldn't mind starting with the Clippers. We'll see what happens. The Memphis Grizzlies, of course, still with the tremendous logo. Not on the wheel this time. Actually, no, that's a lie. They are on the wheel. This is one of the eligible teams. Jason Williams, Pau Gasol, Shane Battier, Mike Miller, Brevin Knight. So again, the Grizzlies are on the wheel here as a possible option. The Atlanta Hawks are also on the wheel. Sharif Abdur-Rahim, Jason Terry, Glenn Robinson, Theo Ratliff, Nazir Muhammad, Dan Dickau. Dan, by God, Dickau. Also on the wheel, the Miami Heat, led by another name Chat's familiar with, Eddie Jones, Caron Butler, Brian Grant, Alonzo Mourning. Is that Victor Stepania, I think? Eddie House is there. The relocated New Orleans Hornets, who did make the playoffs, led by Jamal Mashburn, Baron Davis, P.J. Brown, Jamal McGlure, David Wesley, Eldon Campbell. So again, no one will be the Hornets in this timeline. The Utah Jazz, who did in fact make the playoffs this year, so they won't be available, with the ancient John Stockton and his rapist pal, Karl Malone. Last year, Stockton would play, and Malone went to the Lakers the next year and lost in the NBA Finals to the Detroit Pistons. Suck it, Carl. You're a terrible person. But Andre Kirilenko's there, Calbert Cheney, Greg Ostertag, Scott Padgett. The Sacramento Kings also made the playoffs. This was their best year. Well, this and the year before. But Chris Webber, Peja Stojakovic, Mike Bibby, Doug Christie, Bobby Jackson, Vlade Divac, Turkoglu, Gerald Wallace, Scott Pollard. Hell of a team that neither of us will be controlling. Don't you regret not choosing the Knicks? The New York Knicks will be available in this challenge. Allen Houston, Latrell Sprewell, Kurt Thomas, I'm pretty sure, Tonio McDyess. Old team. Perfect for the teardown. You'll be shocked to know that the LA Lakers are not available for this era. Featuring Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, Derek Fisher, Rick Fox, Robert Horry. Jesus. The Orlando Magic, also not available. Tracy McGrady, Grant Hill, Drew Gooden. But they were the 8th seed in this season, so not available. Inuyasha, what's going on, by the way? The Dallas Mavericks, not available. They were, of course, a playoff team led by Dirk Nowitzki, Steve Nash, Michael Finley, Nick Van Exel, Rafe LaFrentz, Celtics legend, Sean Bradley, Raja Bell. The New Jersey Nets were also a playoff team, so they're not going to be on the wheel here. Jason Kidd, Kenyon Martin, Richard Jefferson, Kerry Kittles, Sex the Mutombo, Jason Collins. Kid looks confused. Kid looks offended. Jason Kidd looks offended. You could also argue it looks like a mugshot after yet another DUI. The Denver Nuggets will be on the wheel. Juwan Howard, Marcus Camby, watch him whip, watch him nay-nay. Robert Bowen, the Birdman, Chris Anderson. The Indiana Pacers, not available. Unfortunately, not available. But led by Jermaine O'Neal, Ron throwing hands, Artest, Brad Miller, Reggie Miller, Al Harrington, is that Jeff Foster? The Detroit Pistons, not available. They were the number 1 seed in the East that year, but Ben Wallace, Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton. God damn, Mehmet Okur. The Toronto Raptors are available. And if one of us ends up with Toronto, it could be over pretty quickly because of Vinsanity. Antonio Davis, Olajuwon behind him. Team needs a lot of work, but you got Vince Carter. MK, I'd prefer not to talk about it. And then, of course, back to the Rockets. So again, that's what the teams look like at the start of the era. So again, the teams that did not make the playoffs, right? The teams that didn't make the playoffs, minus teams that we have already controlled, just for a different look, right? So again, we talked about the Rockets, the Cavs, the Bulls, not on here. We spin, we draw 2 names. And of course, chat will again get to choose because they won the last era. They will choose which team they want. The first team available, the Los Angeles Clippers. So the Clippers are the first team available. Well, this is a bummer. There we go. And the second team available will be the Washington Wizards. The Wizards and the Clippers. So again, it'll be chat's choice of who they want. Do you want the Wizards in the final year of Michael Jordan? Kind of a directionless franchise, right? Or do you want the LA Clippers? A young Elton Brand, Corey Maggette, Lamar Odom, Quentin Richardson. It's not a bad core to start off with, right? Not a bad core at all. What do you want? The poll is live. No extra votes on this one. Save Lamar Odom before the Kardashians get to him. Will you go with the Clippers or will you go with the Wizards? Chat's up 2-0 in these journey through the eras. What's it going to be? Again, it was Michael Jordan's last season. To be honest, this custom roster was looking pretty good, too. I saw that it had Reggie Miller, had Rasheed Wallace, so I don't think we'll have anything to worry about. Actually, additional votes shouldn't have been available, but I think they were, even though I hit the off button. So be cognizant of that. I think additional votes are live. They definitely are, based on the results. So let your voice be heard with extra channel points. Do you want the Wiz, or do you want the Clippers? It's going to be a close one. It's a close one. And the decision hath been made. It will be chat's LA Clippers against my Washington Wizards. Fair enough. Also, this is the first time it's East versus West. Every other time we have been in the same division. Funny enough. But there we go. Our 2 teams have been decided. Chat's Clippers and my Wizards. And we'll see what happens. Also, worth noting in the era, again, Charlotte Bobcats are going to be here. social media in 2002, which, what a mistake. I say on a social media platform, in a sense. Of course, the Sonics might be moving. The first round of the playoffs changed. Instant replays in. And you already know what it is. The 2003. I hit the wrong damn button. But the 2003 NBA draft may be the most legendary class of all time. Who do I trust? I guess I'll trust the top one. I mean, that's a shitload of downloads compared to everybody else. Right? 51 real dudes. Best class or get your money back. You know, Nostradamus, I think, just won me over. Holy shit, maybe not. Full first round plus notables? That doesn't sound too bad. You know what? Shits and gigs. I agree. I like the moxie of Nostradamus. I gotta check this out. I gotta look at this. Oh, unrealistic, because who the hell is LeBron? Bosh, Heinrich, Michaela Petrus. I mean, it is true that Reese Gaines should have been there. He was the 15th overall pick, so fair enough. All right. Fair. Yeah, I mean, Boris Diaw, that bad. Zarko Chupacabra. You know what? I mean, I think it's looking all right. I think we'll trust it. Fair enough. All right. Well, allow me to just double check. Obviously, we went through the stuff before. But allow me to double check that everything is good to go. He spelled Petrus wrong. I want my money back. It's official. He spelled Petrus wrong. We are taking our money back. So only 50 real dudes, right? I don't trust him. All right. Looks like we are good to go. I believe. The start of a brand new era. Again, it will be Chat's Clippers this time out. 13th on the power rankings to start against my Wizards. 22nd in the power rankings entering this season. All right, you know what? Really quickly. Go over the old if we go over to the old power rankings here. He didn't spell Petrus wrong. You just don't know what you're talking about. You spelled Petrus right. You just don't know what you're talking about. How dare you? How dare you besmirch no money back for you? So again, let's take a look. There's no accent. Oh, fuck off. Let's take a look one more time at Chat's roster here, as you guys will have to make the decision of how you want to approach this first season, right? Andre Miller, Keon Dooling, Judd McMillan. Amazing. Shooting guard. Ooh, Jesus. Okay. Filler player at shooting guard. Forwards, Corey Maggette, Quentin Richardson. I mean, obviously a good duo to build around. Power forward, Elton Brand, Lamar Odom, and Cherokee Parks. And at center, Michael Olowokandi, Wang Shishi, Melvin Ely, Super Nintendo Chalmers, Terrence Moore. So, I mean, there's not a bad core of young players here. Obviously, the issue is you're going to have to deal with some heavy hitters in the Western Conference. So, that is the question. But as you look at the roster, goes Miller, Richardson, Maggette, Brand, Olowokandi. It's really not that bad. It's really not that bad. Odom, Parks, Shishi, and Eli off the bench. Crypt Keeper's head coach. That man somehow has a worse hairline than I do. That's fucking nuts. That's fucking nuts. So yeah, as always, we have control of the trade block, right? Any suggestions, or do you just want to go through this first season and see what's up? You do have your first round pick this year, but obviously no extra picks in the future right now for the Clippers. Seeing a shout for the older guys. That's, yeah, Cherokee Parks, Olowokandi, I'm seeing Andre Miller be listed quite a bit. I mean, I don't think Tremaine Folks will get you much, but... And then, I mean, old Wang Shishi. And then I imagine... Well, I don't know if you want anything else to be untouchable. What do you guys think? What do you think? What do you think? Any other changes you'd still make to the block for Season 1, knowing that you have a pretty decent team to start? Shouts for Elton Brand to be untouchable. Is there anything else you'd change? Brandon Pick as untouchable. Anything else you guys would change? Or is that the look? Is that the look? Blow it up right away is also an option if enough people want to propose using the nuke immediately. But, all right. People seem to be content. So again, it is Chat's Clippers against my Wizards, who look like this. Tyronn Lue at point guard. Michael Jordan, Larry Hughes, and Juan Dixon at shooting guard. Forwards, Jerry Stackhouse, Bobby Simmons, Jared Jeffries, Brian Russell. God. Power forward, Christian Laettner, Charles Oakley, and Brian Cardinal. And at center, Brendan Haywood, Kwame Brown, Eaton Thomas, and Shahidi White. Shahidi White. I have not seen that name probably in 20 years. Can you believe this team didn't make the playoffs in Michael Jordan's final game? Can you believe, or final season? Can you believe it? Got to have good. Got David Luiz as my head coach. All right. So it's Lue, Jordan, Stackhouse, Laettner, and Brown as a starting five. Oof. Oof. All right. So obviously, different starting positions for these teams. Very different. MJ immediately to the block. Stack goes to the block. Christian Laettner goes to the block. I'm not going to... I don't think I'm going to immediately use my nuke again. But if there was ever a time, I do have my first round pick this year. If there was ever a time, why do you think Michael Jordan's such a bad owner? Well, now he's only a minority owner, right? He sold his majority stake for the Hornets. And just because you're the greatest of all time doesn't mean that you can do everything in regards to a sport. Wayne Gretzky is a head coach, for example. You know? It worked so well for you the last 2 eras. Hey, shut up. Oh, God. Just, the problem is, if I try to use a nuke, I'm not going to get that much. I'm not going to get that much. That's the problem. Oh, man. Tyronn Lue, Brady is a commentator. Am I the only one that doesn't think that Tom Brady is all that bad? Like, I get it. Like, he's not better than Greg Olson, who he replaced. But, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just biased, but I have heard worse color commentators than Tom Brady. Right, Jake, exactly. He's fine. He's not good, but he's fine. I'd rather listen to Tom Brady than Tony Romo. I said it. Untouchables? Fucking nobody. Please. The only thing untouchable is a first-round pick. Like to hear him call something out of the Cowboys game. Well, it's not like... I mean, I understand not wanting to put him in a Patriots game situation. But it's not like the Patriots played the Seahawks on Fox. All right. Well, if I had to guess, chat's going to win 3 eras in a row. If I had to guess. But again, this is an absolutely legendary draft. Chat is that much closer to making the playoffs, you would think. Let's see how it plays out. Let's see. Our first season in the Kobe era. Chat is 2-0 so far. As you get your first trade offer, dueling for 22-year-old Donnell Harvey. A- potential at 22 and a 76. Dueling C+ potential at 22 and a 72. I see no reason for you guys to turn this down. Same age. Harvey's the higher overall and the higher potential.
For those about to score,
is anybody going to say no to this? Shout out to Sean Squatch for the 12 months. The 1 year. Squatching for 1 year. All right. Well, Jake overruled. Denver must be high. Or they must really need a point guard. It's kind of the latter. And they do have Juwan Howard at power forward, so. Harvey on expiring contract. Yeah, but he's 22. You'll have signing rights for him. So. Looks like it's going through. Keon dueling for Harvey. There you go. Early trade for Chad. Already getting better. Somebody trade for Michael Jordan. Please. Jesus Christ. Yep. As expected, Chat's team's doing quite well. Oh, thank God. Oh, God, you're gorgeous. Yes. I don't think we're going to make it to 2007, but Christian Laettner and a second-round pick this year for Ron Mercer, but more importantly, the Pacers' first-round pick in 2007. I don't even know if we will make it to 2007. However, if we do, I will at least maybe be okay. Right? So, sorry, having to check something really quickly. But, Kevin Durant. You didn't protect the second rounder? Yes, you could do a swap of best or worst. I don't even know how good Ron Mercer is. He's fine. Fine by me. Laettner, have fun with the Pacers, buddy. Win Reggie Miller a title. As I will immediately... actually, maybe I won't. I don't think I can even get anything for Charles Oakley, but we'll try. Obviously, how the hell do the Wizards have a winning record? As Chat gets an offer, Harvey for Ferry in a second. That's not going to be worth it. Ferry's a veteran. How the hell do I have a winning record? Are you fucking kidding me? How the hell am I the second best team in the Eastern Conference by win percentage? Oh my God, Mike and Stackhouse are just... Oh, no. Well, I already can't out-tank the Miami Heat. It's already too late to trade picks. It's already too late to nuke. Jesus Christ, I'm on 14 wins. Jesus fuck. Am I going to have to nuke immediately? Again? I think I'm going to have to. I'm going to have to nuke again. If I want any chance of having a top player in this draft, I'm going to have to use my one nuke per era, which again means I'm actively allowed to trade as opposed to having to rely on the trade block. Wheels, no. Not in the first era. Do you nuke or buy? Oh, shit. Literally just being carried by the GOAT and Michael Jordan. Do you nuke or buy in? I mean, I do have Kwame Brown. I should be feeling pretty confident, right? Jesus Christ. Like, it's the 2003 draft, man. This is not the year for my team to be good. How are they good? How is this team doing better than my fucking Olajuwon Rockets? Fuck. It's December 17th. We still got a ways to go. Funny enough, chat's at 18-7. It's honestly a really weird start to the year. Like, even the Lakers are shit. I'm better than the Lakers. How do I have a better record than the Lakers? Holy shit. I can't believe this. Oh, Mike. Oh, Mike. I don't know what to do. There's clearly not much I'm going to be able to get. But if I trade away Jordan and Stackhouse, that should be enough for this team to be dog water moving forward. I can't believe this. Can't believe this. Chat, I gotta use my nuke in season 1 again. I gotta do it. I gotta do it. I have no choice. This team, chat's memeing aside, this team is clearly not good enough to win it all in season 1. Like, chat will meme about it. This team's not winning a title in season 1. Crash, it isn't, though. This team is not winning a title in season 1. Even if I somehow magically get to the finals, I'm going to get smoked by the best in the West. There is no shot in hell this team wins anything. Especially if Jordan retires at the end of season 1, as he did in real life. And it's the 2003 draft. I got to do it. And I will. And I will. Mike, you got to go, buddy. The story of one more run isn't for me. It might be for a different team. But it's not for me. You got to go. You got to go. You gotta go. If, of course, there is a trade that makes sense. Otherwise, it's like, well, shit, I'm stuck with them. And given that the first one was for John Salmons and fucking Kenny Thomas. Oh, God. Jamal Crawford on the Bulls. Trenton Hassel. Jesus. Hendricks, I don't know. First round pick in 04, a top 10 protected from the Cavs. But Ricky Davis, though. The Celtics first rounder this year. And Shamond Williams. Ratliff, Deion Glover. The Celtics so far are the only team offering a first rounder this year. Drew Gooden, Stephen Hunter. Raptors offering their first next year, but they've been doing well this season. Rockets their first in 05 and Steve Francis. Jesus. I mean, that's the best of both worlds. My team should still be good, and I'd have the Rockets first in 05. That would actually be a hilariously good trade. Manu Ginobili in a first, but it's for the Spurs first. Phoenix's first rounder and a veteran Penny Hardaway. Zerbiak. How are the Celtics doing and how are the Suns doing? Celtics are currently on the fringe of a playoff spot. The Suns are doing really well. So if I were to follow up with this nuke, we're typing in the code right now. We haven't hit the big red button yet. It would make sense to go for the Celtics. But that obviously might push them into being in contention. Or, I cash out on Jordan to get Steve Franchise. Jerry Stackhouse. What are the offers for Stackhouse? This might make or break this deal for me. Especially because, again, I'm primarily looking for draft picks. So I could get Steve Francis. I could get Jamal Crawford. But obviously, I can't take the deal from your Clippers. Shout out to Mike Bibby. Ryan Hill, Stephen Hunter. The deals for Stack aren't looking that good. So I could turn Jordan and Stackhouse potentially into Steve Francis and Ron Artest. I don't remember if Haywood was attached to the Francis deal. Sean Marion. Use Jared Jeffries to get an improvement forward. Sheed Wallace. Top 3 protected first rounder from Golden State, but also to get Antoine Jameson. Jesus. Francis had the 05 pick, yeah. Stackhouse and Haywood for Jameson in a first potentially this year. Jordan for Francis in a first in 05. What's the trade looking like for Eaton Thomas? Eaton. Kevin Ollie. Fred Hoiberg. First rounder in 07. I could spec heavily into the 07 draft. I'd have that going for me. 05 first, top 5 protected. 05 first with nothing. There's another 07 first. There is an argument to pull the trigger on this. There is. 04 first from the Pistons. Start now and you can own that 07 draft. Yeah, if we make it that far is the problem. I can get a first round pick for Thomas, which is shocking. Like, this team is overperforming what they should be capable of. That's just a fact. Jesus Christ. I think I got to do it. I think I got to do it. I think I have to. Again, the Jordan offers Ricky Davis and a first in 04-05. Oh, God. Ricky Davis and an 04/05 first. Celtics outright offering their first round pick this year. And Shammond Williams, who's just a tack on. Of course, I can't take that deal from you guys. I wouldn't want Turkoglu and Wallace, although that's not bad. But no draft pick, which kind of sucks. Those two aren't that bad. I love Butt Rock, by the way. What a song. What a song. Thomas, Drew Gooden, Stephen Hunter. Again, the Raptors offering a 2004 first, Morris fucking Peterson. Oh, God. This is the interesting one. Right? Like, this is the interesting one from Houston. Be able to swing this to get Stevie Franchise and a 2005 first round pick. I have to add Tyronn Lue to the deal, but and also there's the other deal to get Manu Ginobili and an 04 first, which obviously it's San Antonio. That first rounder is going to be really, really good. And by really good, I mean really late. And then Phoenix, we're also looking pretty damn good. So that first rounder this year isn't going to be too high. Molly Zerbiak, Gary Trent. I mean, there is something about that proposed deal for Steve Francis. Right? Like, because that'll keep my team good. All right, I've had enough bot rock, by the way. Like, that'll keep this team good and get me a future first to be like, well, shit. I mean, come on, as it is, Steve Francis, clearly better than Mikel Jordan. Clearly. Again, that 04 draft next year has Dwight Howard, Andre Iguodala. 05 has Chris Paul and a couple other good players, but nothing crazy. 06 has Aldridge, Lowry, Millsap. And then 07's the interesting one because Durant, Horford, even Mike Conley. I mean, so that's probably going to be an 05 pick. Boston right now, again, on the fringe. If that doesn't end up being a lottery pick, that trade's a disaster. There was Hedo Turkoglu and Gerald Wallace from Sacramento, which is a pretty well-balanced offer. I mean, getting two more good young players. They're both at the same position, though. Toronto was Peterson in 04. That's out for sure. That fucking Steve Francis trade. That Steve Francis trade. It's more interesting than the Manu trade because, again, I know San Antonio is going to be sick. And then Phoenix was too good, so that 03 first doesn't quite work. There's 3 trades for MJ here that could realistically make sense for me. It's the Boston trade just to try and get a lottery pick in this draft for LeBron and company, obviously. There's the Sacramento deal that just gets me 2 good young players, you know? I mean, Turk still has a good potential, and then Jared Wallace would need to improve. But this trade here, I mean, if my team's going to be good this year, it would make sense to take this one. I mean, Steve Francis, it basically ends up being Tyronn Lue for an 05 first. Oh, Stevie Franchise. The problem is, in terms of getting Steve Francis, I want my team to be bad. That's why I'm here in the first place. I'm second in the Eastern Conference in the middle of December with just Michael Jordan and Jerry Stackhouse. This is a nightmare. Yet I had a team with Olajuwon, and they sucked. So I lost the last era. I'm drowning already. The era just started, and I'm fucking drowning.